I was here to play the game, and if you didn't, you would get an electric shock. Have you ever played a game where a single mistake could cost you your life? At the start of the story, we see a famous YouTuber named Jack Pro sitting in his studio explaining a big game. He says that there will be 8 players and 8 of the best games, but only one winner who will play this game with a Minister of Intelligence, and the game will be called Octames, which is also the name of this movie. Afterward, we are shown a scene from Jack Pro's studio, where a girl named Carrie is also participating in the game. First, the staff gets everyone to sign a paper to confirm their participation in the game. Carrie also notices that there are cameras everywhere in the studio. Besides her, there were other people who had come to play the game. Everyone there thought that winning would be easy. Suddenly, a screen turns on and Jack Pro appears wearing a mask. He explains the games and says that after this game, he will leave social media. He further reveals that whoever wins the game will get access to his accounts, which have 115 million followers. The winner will inherit his ID. Hearing this, all the players are happy but also a bit surprised. After explaining, Jack Pro introduces the first game. Simon says he explains that when Simon says something, everyone must do exactly as instructed. For example, if Simon says jump, then you must jump. If anyone does anything other than what Simon says, they will be eliminated and the rest will continue playing. In the end, there will be one winner. As soon as the game begins, a fox character dressed in a fox costume appears. The fox's role is to eliminate the losing players. Everyone was quite confused when they saw him. A staff member, dressed in red, sits on top of the studio with a gun, ready to act. The game begins, and one player makes a mistake. The fox calls him over and brutally hits him with a hammer, killing him. Seeing this, everyone is terrified. A girl tries to run, but the man with the gun shoots and kills her. Many people who try to escape are also killed. After witnessing this, the remaining players realize that if they don't play, they too will lose their lives. The game is restarted. Simon asks everyone to stand on one leg. One player loses his balance and is immediately shot and killed by a staff member. The next task was to hold their breath for a while, but one girl feels nauseous and can't hold her breath, so she is shot too. Watching this, the remaining players try to run, but they are also shot dead. The first round ends and only 8 players remain. Jack Pro congratulates them and asks everyone to introduce themselves. The first player, Kari, says she is a singer. The second player is a video game streamer who streams live games. The third player is a comedian, and the fourth is a model. The fifth player introduces himself as Steven, and the sixth player is a businessman. The seventh is a gym trainer, and the eighth is a cartoon channel host. After this, Jack Pro gives Carrie a video related to the academy, which she takes to her friend, telling him that they will soon escape from here. Back at the studio, the remaining 8 players are given clothes to wear, and they all dress up, but they are still scared, wondering what will happen next. Here, the comedian and the gym trainer team up. Seeing this, the businessman also teams up with Steven. Now the second game begins. In this game, Jack Pro explains that each player will be given a number, and according to this number, they will wait for their turn. When their number is called, they will move forward when the board turns blue, but they must stop when it turns red. If anyone moves on red, they will lose. The game starts, and one by one, the players take their turns. Here, the businessman tricks Carrie into switching numbers with him. The TV show host plays her game carefully, but Steven blows a whistle to distract her, causing her to move on red. The fox character, the game's enforcer, appears, and as per the game's rules, anyone who loses will lose their life. The comedian girl is still very upset about her death in the game. At this point, the businessman approaches her and the gym trainer, telling them that they need to help him defeat Steven because he was responsible for the previous deaths. He persuades them, and they agree to join his team. Meanwhile, the cook is also looking for a partner as she is all alone. However, everyone refuses her, and when she approaches Steven, he angrily punches her, causing her nose to bleed and knocking her unconscious. Just then, the video game guy approaches her. He arrives and cleans his phone. He then speaks to Carrie and the comedian girl, saying he deeply regrets the death of their marriage. The guy had also teamed up with Carrie and the comedian girl. He tells them that tonight they must find a way out because neither he nor Masjid wanted to play this game anymore. Meanwhile, we see Jack Pro, who is with his friend, the one we saw at the beginning of the story. His friend had access to all the players' phones and was messaging their families so that no one would suspect they were in trouble since no one knew about the game. They both planned to escape within 3 days, and soon, the third game began for the players. This game was called the Obstacle Course. It was up to the players to decide whether they wanted to participate or not. Upon hearing this, the gym trainer quickly agreed to play, and began the obstacle course as soon as the timer started. However, as she entered, she encountered Foxman, who was blocking her way. She somehow managed to escape, and everyone cheered her on, but at that moment, a man shot her dead because she hadn't completed the course on time. Kari wanted to play the game but hesitated. She told everyone that she wanted to get out, no matter what life was like outside. She just wanted to leave. But after a brief pause, she said, "Who knows, maybe my life will change after winning this game." With that thought, she entered the arena, and the game ended soon after. That night, we see a girl standing guard outside the hall. It was Shoddy. She was hiding something in her pocket, and another man saw her, warning her that betrayal would lead to regret. She left without saying a word. Later, we find out that Jack Rowe's friend wanted to kill him, and had asked this girl to procure poison so that she could murder Jack Rowe. The scene shifts back to Kari, who was woken up by her partner because they planned to escape that night. The boy checked on Foxman, who appeared to be asleep, but as soon as he touched Foxman's hand, Foxman woke up. The boy panicked and silently went back to sleep. Morning came, and the fourth game began. This time, it was musical chairs. The players had to move around the chairs while the music played, and when it stopped, the one seated first would win, while those left standing would lose. The last person standing would have money transferred to their account. One by one, the players were eliminated. In the final round, it was between Cook Lady and Steven. On the other side, we see the eliminated players, who were still alive. Then, Jack Rowe's video played, revealing a twist: whoever didn't sit on the chair would be killed. Now, the competition was between Steven and Cook Lady. Cook Lady was winning, but Steven threw her off and sat on the chair himself. Steven had won the game, and everyone saw his dirty trick on screen. Businessman turned everyone against Steven, saying that he only cared about his own victory and no one else. Hearing this, all the remaining players joined the businessman's team. This game ended, and Jack came to Brooklyn, who was severely injured. He praised her for playing all the games well, and expressed his desire for her to join his staff. On the other side, in the hall, Kari and the other players prepared for the fifth game, called Hide and Seek. They had to hide in the house, and Foxman would search for them. Jack explained that whoever was found first would be killed. The players hurriedly found hiding spots. Foxman approached a corner where Kari was hiding, but Steven made a noise, diverting Foxman's attention toward him. Steven quickly found another hiding spot, joining two other players. Meanwhile, Kari was trying to find a way out of the house. Steven and the businessman pushed the comedian girl out, and Foxman spotted her. He chased her down, and just as Kari arrived to save her friend, Foxman strangled the comedian girl to death. Kari cried over her friend's death as the game ended. Now, Kari was extremely sad and yelled at Steven, accusing him of foul play. Meanwhile, we see another scene with Jack Rowe in a studio, where he held a girl captive, the one who had poisoned him. Jack Rowe had realized that his friend wanted to kill him. He told the cooperative to kill the girl who had betrayed him. Upon hearing this, Cook Lady went wild and attacked the girl, killing her. After that, the sixth game began. They had to throw a large ball across to the other side. It was heavy. In the final showdown, it was Kari versus the businessman. Kari defeated him, avenging the comedian girl's death. When the businessman lost, he was shot too, but before dying, he bit off Foxman's arm. Foxman, enraged, killed him in return. The players were terrified, and then Jack Rowe appeared on screen, announcing the seventh game, scheduled for the evening. Jack Rowe's friend brought him juice, which had poison mixed in, but Jack Rowe, being clever, made a smart move. He asks her to drink the juice first, but she refuses and runs away. As she was running, the Cook Lady comes and shoots at her, killing her too. In this way, the Cook Lady gained Jack Rowe's trust. Now, both of them were united, and they had to play the seventh game, called Hangman. In this game, they had to guess the correct word, and whoever failed would get an electric shock. Steven guessed the correct word and saved his life, but Kari's friend, out of concern for her, deliberately said the wrong word. As a result, he received a powerful electric shock and died. He sacrificed his life to save Kari. Seeing all this, Kari cried a lot. Now, only Steven and Kari were left in the game. Kari confronted Steven, telling him, "You're responsible for everyone's deaths. Because of you, they all died. You're a terrible person who only thinks about himself." Steven replied, "Say whatever you want, but tomorrow I will be the one to win." The next day arrived, and they had to play the final game. The rule was that the players had to hold the flag in the field for 3 minutes. Jack Rowe told both of them that this was the final and last game, after which he would upload all the footage to his account and leave forever. As the game started, both Kari and Steven grabbed the red flag together. Steven, using all his strength, tried to pull the flag towards him, causing Kari to fall to the ground. But then, Kari spotted another flag nearby, which was the correct one. She rushed towards it. Meanwhile, the cook lady shot and killed Steven because he had lost. The cook lady avenged herself against Steven. Jack Pro appeared on the screen and congratulated Carrie for winning. Just then, Jack Pro's associates arrived and injected her, making her unconscious. When Carrie regained consciousness, she found herself at home, where she discovered Jack Pro's ID and a written password. Soon after, one of Jack Pro's associates arrived and handed her phone back to her. In the final scene, we see 3 months have passed. Carrie had now become very famous on social media. She was talking to someone on the phone when the man sent her a video, asking her to watch it. When she played the video, she was shocked because the person in the video was none other than Jack Pro, who had returned with a new name and was making videos again.